Alright guys, so I haven't been doing any of this content for a while. This is take 2 of this video because my dogs won't shut the hell up. But, good news is I'm not mad enough to not make this video. Making a Vincent Grey deck out of another deck I had, just kind of thrown together. It didn't work for the other character. I'm pretty sure it's going to work for Vincent Grey though. Just, the concept is to make your opponent fail things. Breaker, Curse of Corruption, Vincent Grey. Starting off with Instability, 4 copies. Instability lets you stop reduction, any type of reduction. As long as the damage is going down, you stop it. So it's pretty valuable, I'd say. Stops good decks. Stuff like that. Next, we're going with 4 copies of Know Your Objective. Again, stops good decks, flips over their damage neg. As a speed reduction, has a high block, which are all valuable things. 3 copies of Forbidden Knowledge, or 4 copies of Forbidden Knowledge, I'm sorry. Forbidden Knowledge reveals the top card of both players' decks, kind of lets you know what enhances you should use. Because there's a lot of check-based enhances in this deck, as it's a mill deck for Curse of Corruption. So, yeah, it's pretty helpful. Next, I have 4 copies of Pride and Glory. Pretty good combo with Forbidden Knowledge. It lets you draw a card, you remove a card from your hand from the game. If the top card of your deck matches the card type you remove, you add the top card of your deck to your hand. So it's not draw, so you can't stop with draw cards too. It's pretty good. Next, 2 copies of Damnation. Pretty standard for evil decks. Negates enhances on foundations, obviously, which is always helpful. Then you've got 4 copies of Fortress Frame. I can't pick up cards today because I have Down syndrome, I guess. Fortress Frame, gonna help you with your speed. You remove a card from the game, obviously, off the top of your deck. +1 speed, -1 speed. Works very good with enhances on characters, and since Vincent Grey has one, it's very good. Also, it's gonna help you mill. Next, got 4 copies of Dread Pirate. This deck has a lot of bad checks in it, and a lot of cards to check. So, Dread Pirate's gonna help you draw those cards. Next, I have 4 copies of probably the best reason to play Vincent Grey, Inner Struggle. It's got the Hunger for Battle-esque effect in the Vincent Grey E where you tag its +1 damage. It also has a draw card ability after your opponent removes a card from the game. So you combo that with Vincent Grey's effect and you draw cards. Next, I've got 4 copies of Discussing the Future. This is really more in here because of the high block. After your opponent tries to discard your momentum, it works too. This deck doesn't get momentum. After your opponent draws any number of cards outside the draw step, you draw a card. Could work, but mostly for the high block, and you could replace it for Hunger for Battle, because I'm not playing Hunger for Battle on this. And that'd be another mill card. Next, I'm moving on to 3 copies of Silence. It's got a low block, flips over problem foundations, pretty self-explanatory thing. I'm pretty sure a lot of you are playing it by now. Just get a hold of some copies. 4 copies of Need to Destroy, increase the breaker rating, decrease their attacks ratings, just good stuff. And another low block. Deck doesn't have a ton of low blocks. It just has it's just got enough to get by, pretty much. Next, I'm going to go with the actions. 4 copies of Revoke. Spam Foundation, negates their enhances. Just good stuff. Pretty easy to use. Very user-friendly card. Next, we're going to go into the attacks. 4 copies of Ballistic Snapkick. Ballistic Snapkick, just very easy attack, or a very easy include in this deck. Breaker 2, which is super good. It also has the burn effect and a +1 mid block. So like the 3/2 is super justified by the fact that you're going to burn them for like 4 vitality every single time you attack, or every time they block. And like you draw them back with cards like Dread Pirate, and it's just very, very good. All around card, and I'm sure you all know that by now from having to play against it. Next, I play 4 copies of Leg Slash. Super high breaker, super fun attack. 2 breaker again, so another breaker 2 card, +2 high block. Blocks tribs and stuff like that very efficiently. And like with the breaker on everything and like Vincent Grey's effect, you can pretty much auto fail any cards you want them to, or any attack you want them to fail. And that's like super, super helpful. Next, I've got 4 copies of 2 Deadly Ring Techniques. Two Deadly Ring technique is just pretty much for the breaker. It also has stun. It's ranged. Its an effect can remove something from the game. It's also really shiny. It's the only shiny card in the deck, which is disappointing, but it's neither here nor there. If it removes the card from the game, you can use Inner Struggle, draw a card, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. It's got a little bit of tricks in it, but mostly just the breaker. And then 2 copies of Curse of Corruption. You're thinking 2 might be a little low. You can up it to 3. You can take out a Ballistic Snapkick for 1. You can take out a 2 Deadly Rings for 1. I'm just going with 2 right now. Like I said, this was another deck, and 2 was like a perfect number in there, but that deck was awful. I think 2 would be a pretty good number in here too, and this deck should be very good. It's going to be slow and boring, so your opponent's going to hate you, but it should be very, very good. Obviously, it also helps you fail your opponent's cards. You discard it, they get -2 to their check. Doesn't fail. Failing doesn't end their turn, but like, still, anything you want them to fail that's an attack, you should be able to fail them. That's kind of it. I know it was a really quick run through, so if you have any questions, just you can message me on the forums. I'm Birch on the forums. You can message me here, King Salty. You can message me on Facebook, Phil Birch. Just any questions you have, I want to hear them, alright? Hopefully somebody gets to run this deck and has a lot of fun with it. Tweak it. Send me your response, or send me your done list if you find you do it better. I'd love to see it. Like I said, this has never been tested yet, so obviously this is like prototype deck. But I think you guys can have fun with it. Glad I could help you get another list up. And Merry Christmas to everybody. I didn't get to say that in my other video, I forgot. And hopefully you have some fun with it. Alright, until next time, this is Phil Birch, your King of Salt. Looking forward to US Nats. Alright, later guys.